Now I hope this works because I'm still not quite sure how it all comes together. So, and I'm hoping that I at least get to see the names of people like I did last week to see who's here and who's not. So I have one viewer, but it's not saying who you are. So, weird, right? All right, well, I'm just going like this, and we'll just have to go with it. And I can't see any. It says comments will appear here. Oh, Ronnie, I saw your comment. So it must be appearing there, apparently. So today, I'm in my living room because I have had enough of the dining room where I've been sewing my latest quilt. Hold on a minute. Hey, Violet, get out of here. Get out. Out, 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 out. Out. She's my shadow. She needs to be everywhere with me. Oh, hi, Karen. I see that you're here. Good. Now it's starting to work, I think. It didn't work the first time around. Oh, my God. Look at this. What is this? Hi, Jill. Hi, Jeanette. I am so going to have to... Oh, my God. Do you know what? I'm telling you guys, and I mean it. When I die, you cannot give me coffin neck. You know what coffin neck is? It's when, you know, when you go to a funeral and and a dead guy is there in the coffin. It really bothers me because when I was a kid, I used to see these guys in the coffin. You know, my great uncles, my grandfather, all of those kind of people in the coffin. And when they're in there, they're next to like this, right? Which of course is hideous. So I'm making a deal with people. First of all, I think I'm going to get cremated, but I'm making a deal with my friends. Like hi Jerry, hi Joy, hi Christine. I'm thinking if I'm in a coffin and you happen to see me there and I have coffin neck, I want you to tuck it in. I want you to tuck it in to my shirt. That's what I want you to do. That's what you have to kind of promise me that when I am like on view, you just tuck it in. Or just pull it back or something. There's no need for a coffin neck, but that's what I look like I have here. And frankly, that's why I'm growing this. And I should grow it down like a ZZ Top guy so you don't see any of this. I mean, age is hideous. And Gravity and I are having the nicest conversations. Hi, Christine. Hi, Carol. Hi, Kathleen. So anyway, hi, Rachel. What a depressing thought. No, it's not depressing at all if you look good. I just am asking you. I'm not advocating that I'm like dying, but if I do, I want you to get rid of the coffin neck. That's what friends do, right? Hi, Susan. So anyway, happy Mother's Day to you all. Hi. Oh, Sally Maxwell. Hi, how are you? Happy Mother's Day to you all. Hi, Brenda. My mom is 6 feet under, but speaking of coffin necks, but I have to, days like today, I remember, what my mom said and things like that. I do reflect. So, anyway, I think that, I wonder about you, and I think about my mom, and I think about, hi, Nancy. I'm in the living room today. I I always laugh about things my mom said. My mom was the hi Laura. My mom was like the oh my God, she always had a saying for everything. And you could, because she was such a control freak, you could never win with my mom. So, one of the things I remember, hi Sandy, one of the things I remember my mom saying to me was all the time, and maybe you have your own kind of things, sayings or things that you remember from your mom, and I'd love you to share those here with me. But she says stuff like, there's a place for everything and everything in its place. Now, for most people, that is okay. I mean, that's a pretty benign comment, but not if your mother is OCD, because you could never, ever find a place for everything that was good enough. And if you did, it had to be just so. So when I hear somebody say, there's a place for everything and everything in its place, I want to kill myself. But here's the thing. I have actually said that to my own kid. So it didn't really matter, it didn't really matter how offended I was or how put off I was by that, the first time around, I didn't feel any shame in giving it to, hi Karen, that must be your server if you can't see me. Oh, Rachel, your mom always said, to be good to one another. Well, my mother didn't care. My mother would just, it was all about my mother. So it was like, be good to me. Hi, Julie. So when I hear there's a place for everything and everything in this place, I literally cringe because as you can see from my house, there's not a place for everything and everything is not in its place. And those of you who've actually been here know that to be true. So, okay, so Sally's mother said, hi, Julie. If you don't respect me, you had better fear me. Well, my dad had a little take on that, and that was when when you get to the point where you're going to like smoke cigarettes and stuff like that, and my dad, I did not come from a family of smokers, and of course, when you're young, you think you know everything, and also, you think you can pull the wool over your parents' eyes, like if you were out smoking with your friends, they would smell it immediately when you came in the door. I didn't realize that. I thought, oh well, they would never know. So the version of "if you don't respect me, you had better fear me," Sally, was my dad would say, if, and you'll have to excuse my French. If I ever catch you with a cigarette, they're going to have to take us both to the hospital because they're going to have to get my foot out of your beep. So, that's kind of it. If you don't respect me, you better fear me. And Julie's mother says, if you don't finish things you'll start, you'll never be a good housewife. Oh my God, Julie. So how's that going for you, Julie? If you don't finish anything you start, you'll never be a good housewife. Well, that's really funny. That's really funny because I'd be a lousy housewife, right? And then Nancy says, get outside and don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Oh, well, I always got don't let the door hit you in the ass when I was like being sassy and, rude or not filling up the car tank after I used the car all night, and I'd say, well, I'm leaving. And they'd say, well, don't let the door hit you in the ass. Hi, Eileen. Oh, the dirt is going to be there when you die. Oh, yeah. Well, that does not happen with an OCD mother. My mother cleaned 20. Listen, on a Thanksgiving holiday when the whole family was there, you could do brain surgery on my mother's kitchen floor. And I'm not kidding. She was that kind of OCD. Yeah, Julie, I can imagine you're not a housewife. Okay, I wouldn't be visiting your house. I would be visiting you. That's what Mia's mother would say. Yeah, and I understand that. Look, I can go into somebody's house that's, a complete mess. It doesn't bother me, and I don't see it, and I don't judge it, because you're right. Mia, I really do go to see the people. But for me, don't forget, I am my mother's screwed up son after all. I get really freaky about it. And also, can I tell you that Mr. Electric also gets freaky about that kind of stuff. Here's the other thing my mother used to say that used to make me laugh. She would say, it's like, well, can I do it? Because Eric's doing it. Eric was a friend of mine, or H was a friend of mine in high school. And I'd say, can I? So Eric is doing it, or H is doing it. Well, if Eric and H jumped off the bridge, would you jump off the bridge? Which is just the most ridiculous thing. And then in like 3, 2, 1, my mom would say, why can't you be, if Eric did something or H did something fabulous, why can't you be more like Eric? She was an idiot. I gotta tell you, parents. Well, look, as a parent myself, you never know what's good and what's bad. So are you guys having a good Mother's Day? I mean, are you planning something? Did you, honestly, from my heart, I love holidays, but I have to tell you that I'd have to cut my throat before I'd go out to like a restaurant for brunch or dinner tonight. It would just be, I think, the worst experience ever, even if I got to see my kids. I just hate those crowds. I hate waiting online. I'm impatient. I'm just a nasty old codger at this point. So I don't know. So I hope you have a good time. Also speaking about moms, one of indulgent that I made this week, even though I said I was never spending another cent ever. Hi, Rachel. Anyway, Rachel has 3 kids. She got an unsigned card, for Mother's Day. She can't figure it out who it is. That's a great one. Anyway, it's the olfactory kind of thing. Like when I think of my mom, I think of scents, and I really like, I don't know. I think of scents. Like, and I think of that with my grandparents. Well, for instance, my grandparents, I was very close with my dad's side. My mom's mother lived with us. But my grandfather and grandmother on the Lipinski side smoked like chimneys. But I was the oldest grandchild, and they would take me with them, to amusement parks and stuff. And I remember, when I was 7 and 8 years old, being in the back of their Chevy Impala, and my grandmother had her hair done and was wearing one of those nets. It's kind of a weird net that has a tie thing underneath it. Do you know what I'm talking about? And it was hot, and it was sticky, and it was leather seats then, red leather seats, and we would be driving to Ohio. There was a park in Ohio called Idora Park, and it was my grandfather's company picnic, which they had. He was a mill worker, as was my dad, in Pittsburgh, of course, like everybody was. And so I would be in the back seat, no seatbelts, by the way. I would be in the back seat turning green because my grandmother didn't want her hair to be, she didn't want her hair to be mussed up, and they smoked like chimneys, those two. So it's funny, like if I'm walking through Manhattan or if I'm walking through any city USA, and not all of them, but there's a certain smell of a certain cigarette, I can't tell you what it is, that brings up these wonderful memories of my grandparents. And it kind of cracks me up because they'd be rolling in their graves if they knew. This is taking on a very weird thing, right? Anyway, they'd be rolling, and my grandfather did have coffin neck. It would be rolling in their graves if they knew that one of the pleasant memories I have of them is cigarette smoke. Rachel, I never went to Palisades Park. I'm not from New Jersey. I didn't move here until I was in my almost my 40s. Hi, Allison. Hi, Lillian. I got to tell you, Allison's mom smoked too, and Allie Aller's mom, Allie is reminded of her mom through cigarette smoke. See, I mean, it just happens. But, no, I never went to Palisades Amusement Park because I didn't move here until I was, I adopted Evan when I was 35, and then I moved to Chicago to produce Oprah. So I got back here to New Jersey for the first time I guess I must have been 37. So anyway, but the house we bought was it was a formerly gated community, and it's right next door to where Palisades Park is now, which are the Winston Towers, which are these big skyscraper apartment buildings. So I don't remember Palisades Park at all. Hi, Marcia. So, but it's interesting because I think it was because of Palisades Park is why my neighborhood had been gated, and then it was, I don't know, unconstitutional. Who knows what it was? But I know that the mansions that were along the Hudson River over on the cliffs. Buddy Hackett lived there. Rose Marie's mother lived there. Frank Sinatra's mother lived there, and it was the biggest mafia neighborhood you could ever imagine. You can never imagine. When we moved there, our garage door was like, they have in the city those big aluminum doors that come down. That's what our garage door was like. It wasn't a garage door. It was horrible. It was horrible. And, oh, by the way, it was hardwood floors in the basement. And, I mean, in the garage. And apparently, one of the guys who was a big mobster in New Jersey, 2 streets away from me, he was one of the guys that got killed in the Port Authority barbershop. He was a big mobster, and his house was there too. So isn't that funny? It's so ridiculous. But we were afraid. And when we went to the back of our house, there was a little part. It was just a normal house, but there was a little part of brick that was a different color brick than everywhere else. And here we come to find out that that brick was put in. It used to be a window when somebody shot through it. And this is a really expensive part of of Fort Lee because it was right on the cliffs. Just crazy stories up there. Crazy. Hi, Sarah. I'm glad you like my stories because I think I'm just not very entertaining at all. Hi, Susie. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, I'm thinking about smell. So I was telling you about my grandparents' smell and how I think of them with the cigarette smoke. But I also want to talk to you about the perfume. Now, what kind of perfume did your mother use? I remember my mother, I think it was called Wood Hue, which is weird. Hi, Edith. Hi, Kathleen. I think it was called Wood Hue. It was like, it looked like a whiskey color, and there was this wooden, and it was like just a tube, and there was like this wooden, Jean Nate, I love that. I did eat at Callahan. I most certainly did, Rachel. It was right off walking distance practically from my house. Taboo for Ronnie's mother. Hi, Melanie. Chanel number 5 for Mia's mother. Hi, Edith. I'm glad you caught me too. Sally, evening in Paris. What did it smell like? Underarms. I don't know. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Chanel number 5 for Kathleen. Chanel number 5 for Laura's. Jen's Ola Cassini. Boy, that's pretty neat. Hi, Susan. Susan made bagels yesterday, and they looked pretty phenomenal. Lillian, your mom wore evening in Paris. Stinky. That's exactly what I said. Hi, Linda, sneaking in for a quickie. Allie, Arpege. Anyway, my mother had this thing. I think it was called Wood Hue, and it had this heavy wooden top on it that was made out of, it looked like walnut. I loved that top. I hated that smell. And then, what else did she wear? She wore, I can't remember what else she wore. I don't know what else she wore. She wore Wood Hue, and then she wore, this is gross for an adolescent kid. Oh, white shoulders, sin. My mom, white shoulders, that was one of hers. I liked white diamonds, Lillian. Lillian's mother thought that white diamonds was stinky, and her mom wore it. But I liked white diamonds. I did, and I really liked the commercial. I think Liz, in those years, like her middle-aged years, looked better than she had ever looked in her life. I mean, she was stunning in, like, what was that, Cat in the Hot Tin Roof? Maggie the cat is alive! I'm alive! But stunning. She and Paul Newman could make you melt. I thought she was beautiful during those White Diamond years. And then, of course, there was the Liza Minnelli getting married, maid of honor years, which was very spooky. Now, Melanie, your mother wore something with Lily of the Valley, and my Lily of the Valley is just blooming. It is one of my favorite flowers. I love it. I grew up with it. I couldn't grow it here. I kept buying pods and putting them in, and I couldn't grow it here. Then all of a sudden, my friend Gloria Dighton, who lives around the corner, who's a big quilter, she is also part of the garden club here in Long Valley. And anyway, it was Mary Kay's cat just brought her a live mouse when she woke up. Now that's a perfume you won't forget. Oh, Charlie. I do like Charlie. But where was I going with that story? I can't remember. I can't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, well, if you remember, let me know. If you remember. Oh, Lily of the Valley. Yeah, Lily. So anyway, Gloria gave me a couple of pods, and she said they're just like weeds. And I put them in a couple of years ago, and honestly, they are like weeds. They're everywhere. But see, Gloria doesn't like that because she's part of the garden club, and her garden is very manicured. My garden is not. I don't care if those Lily of the Valleys take over everything. I love Lily of the Valley. Norel. I don't know what Norel is, Edith. I don't know what that is. So my mother first started Wood Hue, and then, as I said, pretty gross for an adolescent, she moved on to something called, ready? Tigress. And I hated that. And their top had little tiger stripes or something on it, which was really kind of gross. Hi, Pam. And then when I got to be an adult, when I started dating and started to be an adult and stuff, and I would have to buy my mom Mother's Day gifts or Christmas gifts or whatever, I would buy her my favorite perfumes because my mom never left Pittsburgh, or more specifically, the side of Pittsburgh where I was raised. I mean, she never went out. Now, just so you know that Pittsburgh, for the most part, is a pretty small town. And if you went from west to east, people acted like you were out of your mind, you know? So, anyway, so the one I bought her was Lauren. Do you remember that? It was in that, like, you still have your mother's perfume, Joy? It's Topaz. Do you have to put it in the freezer or something so that it doesn't lose its scent? Is it real perfume or is it a cologne? I understand they get Well, I guess like all of those oils, sometimes they get really much stronger, like anise oil, or sometimes they get much weaker. And I'm just curious what to do with old perfume like your mom's. Um, but anyway, I love that Lauren, and I'm thinking about, I had actually talked about this on Facebook. I'm thinking about wearing it myself because I like it. I don't think it's too fruity, and honestly, all these scents are the same. They really are, and every guy's scent has a sandalwood in it. I don't even know what sandalwood is. I mean, if I wanted to smell like sandalwood, I guess I'd work in a lumber yard, don't you think? So that's that. Hi, Amy. So, so then I got her the Lauren, but then when I started working at the View, this is many years later. Barbara Walters used to wear Angel, so I thought, well, that would be great to let my mom, to buy Angel for my mom. So I bought my mom Angel. Now I have to be really honest with you. I didn't really like Angel on Barbara Walters. And my mom loved it because Barbara Walters loved it, I think, and she really liked it. And she really liked the Angel because she even bought a refill of it when she was done with it. Hi, Garen. So she had Angel, and so my mom would smell Angel, like Angel. And so one day, I don't know what possessed me, Angel comes in a man's scent as well. So what was I thinking? I bought the Angel for men. Well, it smells exactly like the Angel for women. And I've had it for years, and only now can I tolerate putting it on. And I just think it's a strong scent. It's strong. And so I want something a little, honestly, I'm looking for a new scent because I've been wearing the same stuff for 120 years. I think my initial, I think my initial cologne was made by Granny Clampett from her still or something. I mean, it just smells like awful. So, and it just doesn't move me anymore. I'm a different person. You know how they say I'm a different person? Well, I'm a different person. So, I'm looking for something that's a little more fruity. I mean, not like orange and mandarin limes and all that kind of stuff. I'm looking for something that is fruity, fried, gay. I'm looking for lily of the valley and hyacinth. So that's that. Oh, cocoa. I like cocoa. Jen's mother wore cocoa. But it makes you sick now, doesn't it? Give you pleasant memories? Um, oh, and Kathleen likes Tim McGraw Original. Isn't that just rubbing alcohol with some oil in it? Whoops, who said that? Who said that? Oh, White Shoulders. That was an old one. That's been Joe Malone. I don't know Joe Malone. Oh, and by the way, I love lavender oil, and I would wear lavender oil. But guess what? So I've had this lavender oil sitting on my side table for yeah, Jen, I don't have great pleasant memories of my mom either. She was a good mom kind of until I got to be independent. And once I grew up, she liked little kids, and once I grew up, that was it. She liked little kids and victims. And if you weren't a little kid and you weren't a victim, my mom really had not much good for you. Um, let's see. What was my next thing? Where was I going with this? Can't remember. I love this. This is like middle age and Operation Head and all kinds of stuff. Oh, by the way, speaking of Operation Head, I went for my blood work last week, which was excellent. My creatinine levels for my new kidney are lower than they've ever been. I'm on hardly any drugs for what most transplant people are on. And oh, yeah, and so, just so you know, I'm like good there. However, this exhaustion is killing me. Okay, I was talking about lavender. Thanks, Jen. I'm glad you're paying attention because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So I have lavender by my bedside, and every once in a while I get a little bit of the lavender oil, and so of course, I'm an addict. There's no doubt about it. You can look at me and say I'm addicted to food. If I drank, I would be addicted to alcohol. If I did drugs, I'd be addicted to drugs. If I buy stuff for crafts, I'd be addicted to craft buying. Too late. That's just my thing. So when I put this little lavender by my bedside, I love that. I love the smell of lavender. And so I started putting it on All right, I know this is a little weird, but you're not watching this because you're going to get something normal. So I started putting the lavender, just a little drop. I'd like pour the thing on my finger, and then I kind of wipe it off because it's very strong, and I put it into my mustache so that all night long I get the smell of lavender. And then I started getting, and then I started putting the lavender, I started putting it like on my temples, then I started putting it on my wrists, so that way when I, like your pressure points, so that when you're like working, and when I'm cutting or doing whatever, I can get this big whiff of lavender. All right, so it is hard to stay on top of Kathleen. So here is the thing. So I don't know why I was reading about lavender, why I started reading about lavender beyond me, or maybe something just popped up on the internet, but I found that lavender, if you wear it on your skin, somehow it like stimulates hormones. In particular, I believe it's estrogen. So now I know where I get my man boobs. I mean, it just has to be. It can't be because I'm fat. It can't be because I'm out of shape. I'm blaming the lavender. So anyway, yeah, well, Alicia does it with lavender, and she puts it on herself. But Alicia, you have boobs. I shouldn't have boobs, but I do. I do. And that's just horrible. And that's part of old age. And, I had come from, my dad was always thin. I get the Italian side of the family, I guess. But, so I'm a fatty. So anyway, so those are the perfumes. And when you smell those perfumes that your moms wore, do you ever just like out in the street or something, does it bring you back? It brings me back. Anyway, I'm trying to think what else happened. Oh, another thing my mom reminds me of. The other thing was juicy fruit gum. My mother used to chew juicy fruit. And when I was younger, in my dad's Impala, which was blue, my mom would go, who wants a half stick of gum? So she would split it between me and that little kid they called my brother. Anyway, so we would get it. But I always remember that smell of juicy fruit. And in those days, my mom used to crack her gum. I don't know how you crack your gum. That must have been a 1950s thing. But she used to crack her gum, and it used to drive my father crazy. But she just did. Is that a thing, cracking gum? Was that a 1950s thing? I have no idea. All right, so, okay, you know how much trouble I've been having with this quilt top. I've been struggling with the blocks. They're not coming out right, no matter what I do. Ruth. Hi, Ruth. Ruth Sandine. She just does great quilt holders. Oh my God, they're my favorites. They're big, magnetic. I love these quilt holders so much. You'll have to look it up. Ruth, I can't remember the name of your company. You'll have to tell me. But these quilt holders are so good for the wall, and they're so easy to use. You don't need your help in putting up your quilts or taking them down or any of it, and you can change them out very often. They're a godsend. Now, if you could see my living room, I'm going to show you. I have like windows everywhere, so I can't really use use them in my living room, and I only have very small wall space. There's windows everywhere. It's called the Easy Display Quilt Hanger. But I have one, and you've seen it. You've seen it when the quilts that you guys send me, I hang them up and I rotate them and what have you. And I love them. So anyway, that's that. So as I was telling you, these quilt blocks were driving me friggin' crazy. They were for some reason, I thought it was the tremor. I thought it was just that. The loom. Yeah, the loom. Isn't that great? Now my friend Amy, I don't have a warping. I do have a warping thing, but Amy has this big warping thing, and she said that she would warp my threads, not warp them, but what is it? When you kind of like cut them all the same size so that you could put them on the loom. Well, she was going to do that, and I gave them to her ages ago. She knows I wasn't starting anytime soon, but I never got them back, and I plan to. I plan to. No, it's not. I don't think it's like the hang it, dang it. This quilt or this quilt hanger is pretty exceptional. It's pretty exceptional. Here's what I do have to tell you about this quilt hanger. Don't get those two magnets near each other because they'll stick together, and I swear, you know what a He-Man strong I am. I can't get them apart. I've tried pliers. I had to put one in a vise and knock the other one off with a rubber hammer. That's how strongly they hang. Hi, Carmen. So I'm glad you're here. So anyway, I couldn't get these blocks to work. Nothing was square. It was supposed to be perfectly square and graphic and square. It didn't work. It did not work. And so I did them over and over again. And then you remember last week I told you how I sprayed the bleach on them. So then I started from square one. It didn't work. Finally, I was literally ready to just hang it up and just say, I'm not doing this damn thing with the quilt. I'm not doing the quilt. And so what happened was, I called my friend Bonnie, and finally Bonnie to the rescue came over. Now Bonnie Espenshade is a friend of mine. She sells a lot of my designs for the magazines and whatever. And Alex Anderson calls these people, because we all have one. Alex calls them her celebrity quilt doubles. so anyway, or no, celebrity. I think it was celebrity stunt doubles. Yeah, that's what it is, or something. Anyway, I couldn't get it. So I called Bonnie, and Bonnie came over, and we started from square one again. And it just didn't work. It just wasn't working. It was not my machine. It was not what I was doing. Now, I went through, this is a 30-inch quilt. I went through, I don't know, 3 yards of fabric to get a background. I could not get it to work. Now, in retrospect, I guess I could have put some stabilizer on the back of this. I couldn't starch it because like I once got a drop of water on it when I was drinking. I just got a drop of water on it, and when I ironed it to iron the water out, it turned my purple into an ugly, like rust color, and I thought, boy, this fabric really sucks. Every time you get to the end, and all of a sudden it would kind of go up. And I don't want to disparage any one company, but it's a solid. It's a solid. These are solids. It's either a Hoffman or a Kaufman or something, or it's a Kona. I know it's a Kona cotton, but I don't know who distributed it. I know it's Hoffman or Kaufman. I can't remember. And they're clearly made for modern quilting, which is not. It's precise, but it's not small. Do you know what I mean? It's not small. And so it doesn't have to be, really accurate. I mean, if you're using big, beautiful squares, this stuff is perfect. But if you're going trying to get a 1/4 of an inch little thing in there, it doesn't, yeah, Jen says to paper piece it. You know what? At this point, I don't give a shit about it. Oops, sorry. I don't care. I mean, here's the thing. I changed my design. So rather than really accurate, it is now totally kind of not accurate. and I don't care. And I'll show it to you. I laid it on the table. So let me show it to you. It's in the dining room, which is, of course, is a sin because I have 2 rooms upstairs that I can't walk into. And you guys are going to have to come over and help me just get rid of this shit and take everything you want home. Hold on. So here we go. This is how it looks right now. There. Can you see it? So it's laid out. But if I show you... And it's only 30 inches. I went through yards of fabric. So if you look really closely, you'll see that it's not perfect. None of these are perfect. None of them are perfect. Try and try and try as I might, and as Bonnie might, and as anybody might. As a matter of fact, Bonnie even took home some of these strips to see if they work on her machine. Oh, and with the water dripping, I was too afraid to even starch it. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm chalking it up to shitty fabric. Again, it's beautiful. It feels good. It looks great. The colors are beautiful. But if you can't get it wet and without it rusting, and you can't get it squared up without a this is regular old cotton without a, stabilizer or something, then who the hell needs it? God, girls and boys, we're going to be, we don't have all day. We got to get it done. So now that 30-inch thing took me 2 weeks to do. It is now due by Friday, I think, this week. So, Sally, steam doesn't seem to affect it, but if there's a drop of something, it totally affects it. It gets a rusty, ugly spot that is very noticeable. So I am going to let go of the perfection. Charlotte, I am going to let go of the perfection. That's not what I wanted, but, it'll have to do. And P.S., it's an auction quilt. So I'm doing what I can. By the way, go to Marianne Fonz's Facebook page to see her auction quilt. Now I'm even embarrassed to put mine in. Hers is like amazing. Of course, she's Marianne Fonz and I'm just Mark Lipinski. Now, speaking of just Mark Lipinski, I went to, I changed my light bulbs in my house. Hi, Louise. Hi, Rose. I changed I don't think, Jill, I don't think it's a defective material. I just think that's what it is. Sometimes you can use like a shot cotton or something and the weave is a little different than regular. That's what it is. And I think, first of all, no, it's 30 inches and most of it is covered by design. So I think that little wonkiness might actually help. And on the label, I'm going to write that I made it wonky so that future generations think it was on purpose. We know better, but none of us will be there to talk about it. That's what you got to do on your labels. That's definitely what you got to do on your labels. All right, so a couple of years ago, I guess it's been about 2 years, I went through my house like a bat out of hell, and I exchanged all my light bulbs for like real light, like real light, like real light. But it was so harsh that everything looked horrible. Sometimes when your house isn't like exactly for, what is it? Like traditional home material, whatever. You just, you put on that little soft, 60 watt or something and everything looks so nice, even though it's not. So I changed all my lights to these lights because I thought, okay, they're good for your mood, they're good for, a lot of different things they're good for. And I thought, well, that's what I'll do. Oh, they're good for looking at fabric. They're good for all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I changed them all out. Well, it looked like Shea Stadium in here. I mean, every time you turn on a light, it was this bright, harsh light. So Jeff Turner says to me, you need to go to get some new light bulbs because these really suck. I mean, when you look at each other and your wrinkles look like they could hold a 5-day rain, your lighting is too harsh, right? So I went and got these light bulbs, and I got to tell you something, you guys. This is just weird. So I bought this light bulb because this is what Jeff Turner says is now the new light bulb. Remember, everybody, I don't know where these light bulbs are. Let me see what this is. Yeah, look inside here and look at this light bulb. Can you see it in this here? Can you see it? I don't know I can't see what I'm seeing. But it's one of those curly Q fluorescent light bulbs. Well, that was the thing we were all supposed to be using. And then, of course, now they're saying it's dangerous and we're not supposed to be using them. So they developed these new LED light bulbs. So here's the LED light bulb, right? So it's like a 3, hi Melissa. So the LED light bulbs, right? They're it's like 50 watt, 100 watt, and 150 watt, which is great. Certainly for bedside, for reading at night or whatever. So I started looking at them. I'm like, you're kidding me. So I ended up, and I rarely shop at Walmart, but I did go to Walmart to buy this because I thought it was the cheapest place to get it. $21 and some cents. $21 and some cents for one light bulb for one lamp. And they look like this. Let me take it out here. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this. I'm not giving you any new tips, but... Oh, this isn't it. This is the one I replaced it with. But here was a different one. Do you remember these are like the new ones, right? And then, so it kind of looks like this. But $21. And so I bought it. But, you know, it says that it has a 10-year warranty. Now, I don't know about you. Do you really save your boxes and all that crap and your receipts for this stuff for 10 years? Really? I don't. It's like when your mattress has a 10-year warranty and all of a sudden it's slumped in the middle after who knows how many years. You just get rid of the mattress, right? And so that's how I feel about this. For $21 for a light, I'm looking in my house right in just one room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 in here. 7 lights. Anyway, I just think it's, yeah, I know, Melissa, that it's supposed to last a lot longer. I don't believe it. Every time somebody says it's going to last longer, it never lasts longer. You know why? There's no money in it. That's why. So nothing lasts longer. Speaking of money and what you get, Kelly, you are not a coloring book person, are you? I don't understand the coloring book craze. I don't. I think that you're also talented, that you don't need a coloring book. Just draw yourself. Color. Buy blank paper and color. You don't need to color that. Do your own thing. Design something fabulous. Anyway, yeah, right, Deborah. I don't have any space either. I don't know how they save boxes either. Even my sewing machines, they're giant-sized boxes. Where am I going to put it? Where am I going to put these boxes for, like, my Elissimo or you know, the Bernina or whatever? I mean, they're huge boxes. So, hi, Donna. Glad you're here. So anyway, I think it's just creepy, a $21 light bulb, a 3-way light bulb for $21. Not only do I think that it is not going to last for 10 years, and I question how much money it's going to save me, but I also question ultimately whether it's good for us. You know, everything they tell us to use ends up being cancer-causing 3 years later. All right, so that's that. Let me show you something else I got today. I got it this week. I'm going to put it on my blog next week, too. And that is, I got this book by Mary Hogan. It's called String Quilt Style, and it's published by Landauer Publishing. And it's a step-by-step photography, and there are like a dozen blocks and 14 quilt projects. And you know, I looked at this book when I got it, and I have to say, sorry, Mary Hogan, don't take this personally, but I looked at it and I thought, how many more times in my lifetime do I have to see this design? You know what I mean? I've seen this 5,000 times. But when I want to tell you something, when I went through the book, there are a couple of quilts in here, you know, because it's string quilt, so that's not so new. I mean, there are a couple of quilts in here that I really, really liked. And I liked them because, I'm trying to find one here. I liked them because they were string quilts, but they weren't the typical, you know, they weren't a typical string quilt. Like, to me, this is a very typical string quilt, right? Hi, Donna. I'm like, do I really need a $25 book to make this quilt? I don't think so. I mean, it's a beautiful quilt, but, you know, I question why I need something that is like, you know, why you would do it. However, she has some great quilts in here that I really liked. One is this one. I know it's a little weird to look at. I mean, it's hard to see here, but I'm just going to show you like the rendering of it rather than the quilt, because I think the rendering is pretty clear. It is a string quilt, but then she appliqued all these birds all over it. I love that. I've never seen anything like that, and that I really like. Look, here's the quilt. I mean, really, I really like that quilt. I like when you take a quilt and you do something, you do something very different with it. You know what I mean? There's several of them in here that I really like. And if you're a new quilter, you just want to bang something out pretty quickly, I have to tell you, this book is pretty cool, and I would suggest it. I would suggest it. Don't be judged by the color that we've all, the cover. Those are quilts we've seen 100 times. But so I think Mary Hogan did a good job, and so I'm gonna blog about it. So that's really about it for me. I had a really bad week this week. In that, I posted it. I'm not sure, and sometimes Suzanne says if you turn them upside down, they're dead birds. Well, you could just sew them that way too. So anyway, depends on your mood, right? Just put them on your bed the way you like it. No, you wouldn't need the book, Deborah. It is just applique, but you know what? That's her applique, and it's her design, and I think it's good. And also, I think it's really inspiring, because you don't always have to do somebody's design exactly the way, but I think Mary's idea was something that I hadn't really considered or seen before. Maybe you have. I had not, so I was really excited by it, and there's a couple in there that I felt the same way about. And as a designer, I support it. I say go for it. You got to buy the book. So I had written like how tired and stuff I was, and I have to tell you, after last Sunday's chat with you guys, I literally slept for hours. It just knocked everything out. It knocked everything out of me. I felt like I was kind of lying to you guys, because people keep saying, how you feeling? And, the truth is, okay, until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, I made this pact that I was going to do only things that I love and only joyful things, and I'm not really sticking to it. So as soon as this quilt is done, which has been the bane of my existence, I'm going to start really concentrating on me again, because I don't have the energy to do anything else right. So anyway, any questions? I'm going to get going soon, because I don't have a whole lot to say today. Life is pretty good as it is. I washed the dishes this morning. I got the bed made. I did the laundry yesterday, and I think I'm going to make snickerdoodles tonight. Although I actually found cream of tartar, which you need, which I don't even know what the hell that is. I found it on my shelf, and I went to buy it yesterday. It was shopping, and a thing of cream of tartar, which was about this big. I mean, it wasn't one of those little small ones. It was a big one. The ring bearer pillow is just about finished. Just about finished, Melissa. So this cream of tartar was $5. Now, I have to tell you something. I need a teaspoon or two of cream of tartar. I will not use cream of tartar, that $5 worth of cream of tartar, for the rest of my life. And that is given I eat snickerdoodles every day, which I'm not going to. So it just makes me mad that you can't buy a smaller one for like $2. Even a $2 one. Hi, Scott. Thanks, Pat. I will take care of myself first. Louise says the cream of tartar lasts forever. Well, that's good, because guess what? I don't care if I have flat snickerdoodles. I'm using the one that I have from about a year ago. And that's right, Joan. The only thing is for snickerdoodles, and I don't know. Does it taste salty? I'm gonna have to taste it. Anyway, I was like incensed that I had to buy a $5 thing of cream of tartar for something I need. I literally need like 33 cents worth of it. And that's it. And I need 33 cents of it. Okay, let's say I need like 98 cents of it for the rest of my life. So anyway, that's it, because Nancy, come over. Nancy's not making snickerdoodles because she doesn't have cream of tartar. I will supply all of you with 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. I promise you, just ask. Thanks, Brenda. You think I look good? I think I look fat and old and, whatever. So anyway, where do I shop? I go to a place called Weiss. It's a Pennsylvania grocery store. That's my favorite place. We have ShopRite, which is a little less expensive, but I like Weiss because it's a little more expensive. Yeah, I get it, but I only buy store brands anyway. I like store brands. I think it's better. In some cases, it's better. I don't like store brand Walmart stuff, for instance. But anyway, That's that. So I shop at Weiss. So I don't, rarely do they have sales on the different herbs and stuff like that, and spices. And I've noticed that you used to be able to buy those little McCormick things, and I can't find them in my stores around here now. So they're these big jars, which, by the way, who the hell needs a jar? If they say they go bad in a year or a year and a half, then it doesn't matter whether you're buying in a jar or you're buying in a paper cup, you know? So, oh, you use it to thicken sauces, Valerie. I never thought about that. I use, oh, what is that stuff? It squeaks. Ugh, I hate it. It's like it has this woman with a corn on it. Cornstarch. That's what I use. Um, anyway, so, anyway, I would like to make snickerdoodles today, but I really have to get that quilt finished. And right now, I feel like once I get off here, I'm hitting the sack. I'm totally hitting the sack. So anyway, that's that. I have no plans for Mother's Day. I have no mother, and uh, and Evan sure isn't going to acknowledge it. So I love. Hi, bye Beth. Thanks for coming. Hi Marcia. So you use it for meringue. Oh, that's interesting. I don't why. Does it stiffen it? It stiffens the meringue. Is that what you do? I don't know. Anyway, someday I'll find out. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a cream of tartar pound cake, and we'll see how it turns out. That's what I'm doing. Sean O'Brien, are you still in Colorado or Oregon or no Utah or wherever you were? How are you doing? How you doing? So it stabilizes the egg white. That's interesting. But if you whip it, doesn't that stabilize it? I don't know what that means, stabilizing the egg whites. So, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, because I thought Jeanette makes the mock apple pie. Jeanette, do you really make the mock apple pie? Does it taste good? That's on the Ritz crack. It used to be on the Ritz crackers box. Is it still on the Ritz crackers box, Jeanette? I have to know. I know, Suzanne. Stiffen what? I could use some cream of tartar. Anyway, you know, age marches on. It keeps them from drooping. That's good. All right, listen, I just lost 500 viewers. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. You know what I want to make? Something else I want to make today is like, what do they call it? Hand pies. I want to make cherry hand pies. I love cherry. I mean, honestly, cherry pie. My grandmother used to make these cherry cookies that I've never quite mastered, and I'm not really sure I even have the recipe anymore. But I looked up cherry hand pies, and they don't seem too difficult. But snickerdoodles seem ultimately easier. Also, I have a lot of cinnamon sugar because when I made my cinnamon raisin bread, I don't know. I guess I mixed it for an army, for Wonder Bread, because I have a million of them. I have a million of them. So, hi Eva, how are you? Jak se masz? Eva speaks Polish, and I love her mom. And I owe you a call. I wonder how you're doing, Eva. And I also am wondering how your mom is because she had some rough losses last year. I want to talk to her about that. Jill, I am not making my own cherry filling. Oh, no, it won't be a can. What I'll do is buy frozen cherries, pitted cherries, and then I'll make it like that with some lemon rind and a little bit of cornstarch or maybe cream of tartar. But I think that's what I'm going to do with the cherry filling. And maybe put in a little kirsch in it, or a little brandy to kind of give it a punch. So, oh, Julie's making chocolate chip cookies right now. I love chocolate chip cookies. I do. I'm not really a chocolate eater though. Like if we were going to go out to have ice cream and we had to choose between chocolate and vanilla, I would always get vanilla. I'm not really a big chocolate. I'm not like a brownie guy. I don't like it. Even if it has pot in it, that's it. Uh, I wouldn't eat brownies. First of all, I've never done pot. And this is a really interesting thing. I want to do marijuana. I want to try it before I die. But by the time I was old enough to want to try it, bye, Sharon. Nice. I'm going to have a nice, great day. And you have a nice, great day, too. So I wanted to smoke some weed, right? And of course,
when I was 18, I knew where to get it. Now that I'm like 58, I have no idea where to get it, and I refuse to ask my son because I know he knows where to get it. Um, uh, Eileen is talking about trying to only make quilts and rugs that tell her story. Um, that's good. I love that. I love that. You know, it's all about the legacy, as far as I'm concerned. All the rest of the stuff. I have a million quilts up there. I'm going to get rid of. They don't speak to me. They don't tell my story. Hi, Michelle. How you doing? How's Turkey? I miss Turkey. I never see her online. We should talk. Um, yeah, a meetup would be great. Um, anyway, where was I? I don't. How do you like this? I should really have a piece of paper and talk about this kind of stuff, right? Because I get distracted trying to answer your questions, and then I don't even remember what I was talking about. Anyway, if you remember, just let me know. So that's it. Do you like my mug? It's the Queen. Charlotte, I am working on a legacy quilt. I am. And as a matter of fact, once this quilt gets finished, that's what I'm going to be, as I said last week, I'm going to be working on it full time because it's enormous. And it also has a companion book to go with it that is not a how-to book, but really a memoir. So I have a lot. Boy, that's hard. There's stuff that's coming up that, you want to share, but then you're thinking maybe I shouldn't. And Sally Maxwell writes marijuana. That's right. All right. And so that's going to be difficult. And I want to have you guys come along with me with this. Anyway, the marijuana. So I wanted to try marijuana before I died. I mean, I would like to be high once. I want to try it. So before my surgery, my kidney transplant, a friend of mine, or someone, it became anonymously, but a friend of mine had placed a little Tiffany box with a joint inside and wrapped in a white ribbon, which I thought was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And of course, I kept it, in case of emergency, break the glass. So I kept this joint forever, but I've always been afraid to do it. And Mr. Electric he's more pansy than I am, so he's not really doing it. But I think I could get him to try it too. I think I could. So when I went to get my kidney, the transplant, I said to, oh, you don't feel it right away, Deb? You have to smoke it for a while? Well, first of all, I'd rather eat it, being the food addict I am. But if I have to smoke it, I will. And now I'm afraid to smoke it because of this stuff going on with my lungs. So that probably isn't going to happen. But I went in and I said to my nephrologist and the people, I said, listen, I have this joint that I'm dying to smoke. And can I smoke it? I mean, is that going to hurt my kidneys? And they said, oh, you could smoke it. But if there's any trace whatsoever of marijuana in your system, you will be ineligible for a kidney transplant because you would be considered a drug addict, I guess. Which is, hi, Marion. Hi from Canada. And boy, am I sorry about those fires. How horrible is that? I love Barbara. Hi, Babsy. I'm glad you're here. Anyway, how horrible those fires are. And I love it. Just keep it out of Moose Jaw. That's my favorite Canadian town. Don't let it go to Moose Jaw. So anyway, isn't that interesting that I had never done a drug in my life, yet had I smoked that one joint or even tried it, it would have knocked me out of running for a kidney transplant. You just can't do that. So now, so needless to say, I have this joint. It's like 4 years old, and so I have to actually said to one of my doctors, I said, "Can I smoke the joint now?" And he goes, "Oh, sure you can." He said, "But you're going to have to get a fresh joint." So I don't know what I'm going to do. I really want to try it. I don't know whether you've ever tried it, but I really want to try it. And sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And I know, look at me, I'm 150 years old, 7,000 pounds, an IQ of -10, and the only thing in my world right now, besides getting this damn quilt finished, is trying to smoke pot. So, there you go. There you go. Well, folks, I'm really out of anything to say, believe it or not. I really have nothing to say, and I've got to get this stuff done, and I've got to at least piece that quilt top, which shouldn't be too hard, but I don't really feel like it. I don't know where to get a fresh one, Barb. And I don't, as I said, when I was 18, I knew everywhere to get a fresh one. But, at 110, I don't know where. And it seems really, by the way, this seems really creepy to me that they could, that the medical profession seems to say, well, if we find any marijuana in your system, we're not talking about crack or heroin. We're talking about marijuana in your system that you can't get a transplant, yet it's entirely legal in a couple of states. So, yeah, you know what? Kathleen says that I'm silly enough. Well, I don't know whether it's about silly, but God help the supermarket that has to deal with me with the munchies. Can you only imagine? Oh, it's going to be ugly. That little Debbie's aisle is going to look like 9/11, I swear to you. Bye, Sally Maxwell. I love you too. Okay, bye, Jill. Yeah, Mary Kay. My priorities are in order: quilting and weed. And I don't know. I mean, I see, in 60 Minutes and stuff, I get to see all like the marijuana stores. I don't have a problem with it. I assume everybody I know smokes weed. I just assume it. They did when I was young. I assume they don't stop. So, anyway, yeah, really, I know. Oh, are those poppy seeds on your freshly made bagels? Not really. No, I can't even smoke it because it can't be in my system. That's the whole thing. Bye, Pat. Happy Mother's Day, or happy whatever day you're celebrating today. I'm glad you came by. Bye, Jenny. No, I did not show the quilt. I just showed the quilt top, and we talked about it. So if you want to, you can go back and see the quilt top, or almost quilt top, and hear the drama, because, nothing happens with Mark Lipinski without drama. Nothing. Speaking of drama, boy, am I craving some Kentucky Fried Chicken. This is horrible. Maybe it's just the talk of weed, and already I'm like craving. Anyway, yeah, I know. And you can take it medicinally in New Jersey, but for some reason, no. And I'm not. So anyway, I love you too, Kath. Glad you came. Anyway, that's it. I'm just rambling at this point. Unless you have any questions for me. Your son in Vancouver, does Vancouver have legal marijuana? Is it legal in Canada? No, Jennifer, I'll stay for a couple of seconds for you. I was just wondering whether marijuana is legal in Canada. That's all we got. Also, can I tell you something, what a horrible American I am? I don't think I really understand the voting system here. I don't think I understand the political system. I always thought that I did. You mean I was born here and I was educated here, but I don't really get it. I don't get, the whole convention thing, and I kind of get the delegate thing. I've never been wild about that. I always thought that was kind of creepy. But I don't understand. Like, if you have the money and you have the votes, why don't you just run? I mean, if Trump wants to run and he wins, isn't that what being a president is about? Not just here, but in any democracy. I don't get it, I'm no fan of the Donald, and I wouldn't vote for him, but, I mean, if he's getting the nomination, I mean, what's the big deal? Somebody voted for him, right? Anyway, just wondered. That's that. Okay, well, kids, unless you have, Judith, they call you Judy? We are still thinking about moving to Pittsburgh. We are looking at a couple places. You know, part of why I was so angry and upset and kind of depressed this week, and I think it was real depression is what happened, is that it kind of dawned on me that I really wasn't well. And even though we want to move and we want to sell the house and I want to clean get rid of all this stuff I've been collecting for 100 years, and just like your house and all this fabric that I'll never use, et cetera, et cetera, I, I'm not well enough to be able to do that because at 1 o'clock, it feels like I wrote to my friend Bonnie today. It feels like the energy just absolutely kind of leaves my head like this and goes right out the bottom of my feet. I mean, it happened the other day. Linda Lumdabono was over here, and it happened when she was here, and it was to the point where I had to say, Linda, I'm losing it. You got to go because I can't focus anymore. I can't see straight. And literally, I can't see straight. And I think Bonnie was here, and I went up the stairs 3 times while she was here in this amount of time, or somebody was here, and I went up the stairs. The first time was fine. The second time was fine. And the third time, I could barely make it up the stairs. And it was, I can almost tell the time it is during the day based on how I feel. Jennifer, they haven't checked my thyroid, and trust me, I have been begging for a bad thyroid. Well, that's not true. They had tested my thyroid. Every part of me in that hospital for those 3 months has been checked and biopsied. Every single part of me. All the way down to having heart monitors on for 24 hours a day for weeks on end. So, yeah, everything has been checked. And it's just, that's what it is. Yeah, we do have our fairy garden this year. And, I have to tell you, I can kind of... Charlotte, I think it is a medication issue, and that's why I got really afraid. And then Jeff said, listen, you can't change that. I said, well, what if I never work again? He goes, we'll worry about that when you're off the medication. But, you have this for a while, right? And so you need to be on this medication for a long time. And so, just don't stress it. But you know how that is, right? You know how that is. You always stress it. First of all, it's that super ego that says that you've got to keep going. And he hit the nail on the head. I feel guilty. I feel really guilty for being sick. I feel guilty that I'm not really contributing to this house. I feel guilty that I'm not really contributing to this world. I feel guilty that I'm not contributing to life. And it's really very frustrating to me. And every part that I want to contribute to just seems to kind of fall away. And just seems, it just kind of, I'm chasing it because I can't get it. Somebody asked me about the fairy garden. I'll show you what I have here. We really have done no landscaping, and it's been raining all day this week. Every day this week, so we haven't even cut the grass this week. Come on, girls, you want to go out? Come on. Where are you? Well, Violet's out. Come on. I don't know where Tulip is. God help her. Oh. Well, I know she's here with me, but in her head, she's somewhere, I don't know where. Far beyond the skies and the trees. All right, so here's the fairy garden, and it's what's the word? Untethered and uncleaned up. So it's just what we have going right now. There's nothing here really. There's just a fairy garden and a fairy house. Every year you have to kind of put in new walkways. The lights are still working, believe it or not. The lights inside the house, and I just put in Christmas lights that I don't know whether you could see over through that, whatever the heck that's supposed to be. That is a solar panel that lights the lights at night, the Christmas lights that are inside the houses. So there's a little subtle light there. Tulip, you want to come down? Come on. Come on. She has no idea where she is. She has no, yeah, I know, Sin. It's been raining here every day. I can't believe it. This is the very first time. Come on, Tulip, are you coming? No, she's not. She has no idea where she is. She's over the rainbow. All right, and look, there's all, remember I told you? There's like a ton, look at these, tons and tons of lily of the valley. Tons of them. So, oh, Buwana, stop the barking. We have a trail up behind the woods here, and people ride their horses there on the weekends. And so the dogs, I don't know whether you can see the horses. I'm going to see if I could show you. There's some, can you see them? Let's see. There we go. And of course, they're not so close, but you can hear a lot of barking. Hey, Violet! Violet! Get over here. By the way, we have a little stream back there, so she can't really go all that far, but she likes to think that she can. So, where did you see a quilting fairy? Oh yeah, it is a quilting fairy. Hi, Barney. Where is it? Yeah, there she is. She's down near the fish. She watches the fish. And that damn fairy has been, oh yeah, Kelly, the dogs are doing their thing. Those dogs are the biggest sissies. Honestly, if I have to depend on the dogs to save us, we would be dead. So, oh, bye, Rosemary. Happy Mother's Day to you, too. So anyway, that's it. That's the fairy garden. That's the hounds. Tulip, of course, is still up on the step. Are you coming down, miss? Come down. Are you afraid? Oh, God bless you. Are you afraid? I hope not. Come on, let's go. Well, I have to pick her up and carry her. So anyway, I'll see you soon. Next Sunday, same time, same place. Oh, by the way, I think I'm going to change this to the, what somebody suggested I go to YouTube. That way everybody can watch it, and then I can embed it in my, my posts, my blog posts. So, you had a cougar in your yard, really? Wow. Wow. When I teach classes, there are several cougars in my classes. Anyway, I love you all. I'll talk with you soon. And boy, doesn't this talk about harsh light? I have to go like this. So look, this is going to be me from now on. This is how I'm going to do these. That's better, much better. All right. So anyway, you guys, I love you. Enjoy your week, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye bye.